Good morning, good day, good evening, good night to wherever you are, and welcome to my little corner on the internet. I'm Kiki. Lovely to have you here. I am going to do something that I think is going to be really fun this week. I hope it's about as fun to watch, maybe even more. And I have this week off. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days where I can maybe potentially read a little bit and catch up on my reading goal, because my reading goal this year are 200 books. And I've read 18, which means that I am 8 books behind schedule. And the problem in that is that I think I've DNF'd like 6 books so far this year. So they don't count, which is unfortunate, but this is what this week is for. And so to sort of get me into the process over product mindset for this week when it comes to reading, I have made a little wheel and it has 1 through 7 on it. And every day I'm going to spin the wheel and I'm going to have to read for the amount of hours it tells me. Once I have read that amount of hours, I delete it from the wheel. So if like today I get 1 hour, 1 hour is gone. I do not get to do that again. And then we'll see what is left by Sunday. But this is the wheel, and I know which book I'm going to start with. And it's going to be Pandora by Susan Stokes Chapman. For several reasons, it's on my February TBR, but also I've been wanting to read it for a while, and honestly, it's Greek mythology. And it has parts. I'm so happy. Okay. So let's spin the wheel for today and see how many hours I actually need to read. So the thing is, I'm hoping I get a bigger amount of hours today, because there are some days that I do have things to do despite being off work. I got 1. You know what? It's okay. I have a couple of books I'm reading for other videos, and I really need to make progress on those as well. So I'm going to be reading for 1 hour in this video. And then the rest of the day, I have other stuff to do, like I said, but any additional reading I do for the other videos. You know what? I'm not horribly mad about it. Okay, I am about to start my timer for today, but I wanted to show you this because I love this. I think it's so cool when they make like the sort of like title page in this like sort of like older style, like how old manuscripts and like classics sometimes have like the original sort of title page on there, and it looked like that, and it's so pretty. And I love it. So, 1 hour. Let's go. Okay, so I have now read for the hour that I need to read today. Um, Actually thinking about it now, I think it may not have been too bad. that I only got an hour today, because it's like it sort of eases me into it a little bit. If I had like 7 hours today, I think I would have died. But anyway, I have made it to page 136, and I'm so confused. I realized that I have absolutely no clue what this book is actually about. It's called Pandora, so I was like, oh, Greek mythology. It also says, weaves together ancient Greek myth with suspenseful mystery, utterly irresistible, said by Jennifer Saint. And I was like, yeah, cool. I like the myth of Pandora. It's one that I haven't read too many like retellings about and stuff like that, so I was like, I'm definitely gonna get this. I really enjoy the way it's written. Like, that's incredible. It's also written pretty big, like, in this edition, so I'm really happy with it. It's really easy to follow. I am now a couple of chapters into part 2 of the book, and it seems to be, yeah, I don't act, it's set in London in 1799, which I love because I love books set in London because it just always makes me feel like I'm there, and I love that. I mean, it's 1799, so things have changed a little bit, but it's just like Somerset House was mentioned, and then the Strand and Covent Garden, and it's just so fun when you've been to all of these places. So I always love it when a book is set in London. Good morning. So I have to leave in about an hour to go to an appointment, and I thought I would spin my wheel so I know how much time I need to be spending reading today, because I don't know how much time I actually have today, so I hope it's not too much, but I have an hour to get ready, so I might just pop in an audiobook. 5 hours. I should be able to do 5 hours. What I'm gonna do is, if I realize that I do not have enough time on the day, I'm just gonna add on the hours to the next day. I really want to try to like get it done properly. We will see what happens. But today, 5. So I am back from my appointment, and it was in fact a hairdresser appointment. I was getting really annoyed with my hair, so chopped it all off again. So before I left, I did manage to only read for about half an hour, or listen to for about half an hour, and that means I've made it to page 34 in Masters of Death, and I'm already enjoying this so much more than Gifted and Talented. Anyway, I'm enjoying this so much more already. The fact that the first chapter is basically from Death's perspective. This is so, like, obviously I don't know where this is gonna go, but like already so my jam with like Death being an actual like character. Before I can continue with this, I do really, really, really want to finish Pandora, so that is what I'm going to be doing now. And like I said, I haven't made it far. I've only made it like 30 minutes into the timer for today, so I'm gonna finish this and then see how much time I have left on the timer and read Masters of Death for probably the remainder of the time, unless I realize that I am starting to get a bit too into my head about it. Okay, so I just finished it, and I actually ended up listening to it while reading along at 4.5 speed, which honestly is probably the max I can do. At least with that specific narrator. Some I know I can listen to probably quicker, and others and not that quickly. But I now have like actually almost 3 hours left. So I'm gonna make a great dent into Masters of Death, or at least I'm gonna try to get like a little bit further through and then maybe read another book. We will see what happens. But let's talk Pandora. This was so much fun. I think that we have so many retellings out there now. And this isn't a retelling. No, this is a mystery that involves Greek mythology. And I think that's why it was so fun, because it took some parts of Greek mythology and sort of wove it into the narrative. And because it's fun because like we've got Pandora, her mother's name used to be Helena, and it's just like there's so much stuff there that's so fun. We've got a little bit of a romance that is very much a subplot. And we've got a woman trying to earn her place in society as a woman in 1799, which I just think is amazing. She's an artist. She is technically half Greek. And yeah, there's so much that is actually really fun about this book. So I think I'm going to give it somewhere around 4.25 stars, I'm guessing. Because A, this was relatively quick to read. B, this was super interesting and it was a little different, which is so, so nice because, again, there are so many retellings out there and I've read so many at this point that it's sort of difficult for me to find something that I haven't read before, that I, like, where I'm just gonna be like, oh god, again. So much fun. If you are looking for something that is heavily inspired by Greek mythology, but just isn't a retelling, honestly, highly recommend this. It's so much fun. Okay. Let me quickly put this away. I am now definitely over a third, I would say. Closer to like 40%. I paused that. What the heck? 38% through Masters of Death, and honestly, this is a comedy. What the heck? And I have a little under an hour and a half left today. And as much as I do kind of want to continue this, I am feeling my attention drift, which is not something I want. So instead, I could see if I pick up Daughter of Red Winter by Ed MacDonald, which is the first in a fantasy, I don't know, like trilogy, perhaps? It's another book that I got years and years and years ago at this point at 66 Books. And I should really read it at this point. It's also on my February TBR. And, well, it is fantasy. Okay, what's my deal with death at the moment? Because, like, in a world of deceit, only the dead hold the truth. And I'm like, what is my fascination with death at the moment? Should I be worried? If I were superstitious, I probably would be worried at this point. But then again, I don't care to be. So I think I'm actually going to go with this one. And see what happens for now, and just read like an hour and a half in this. I technically started listening to Game Changer last night, which is technically the first book in Heated Rivalry. And I could technically say like, oh yeah, come on, I'll read, like I'll just listen to that for an hour and a half. But I kind of want to try to get my TBR down, like my physical TBR. So I think I'm actually gonna continue reading my booksies that are on my physical TBR in this video. Okay, so I now have 40 minutes left. I just went on the treadmill and I took Daughter of Red Winter with me. So I have now made it 62 pages in, and I just don't care, like, at all. Like, we have just seen the murder, the death of, I don't even know how many people that were technically important to our main character, and I don't care. Like, literally the most interesting character we have met is dead. So, like, I don't necessarily like our main character. I'm 62 pages in. By this point, I should either really like our main character or think sort of badly about them, you know, just have some sort of feeling towards them apart from indifference. I don't care about her pain. I don't care about her grief. As cool as her supposed powers seem to be, I don't even care about them. So this is, in fact, a DNF. I'm getting rather good at figuring out which of my books are probably going to be DNFs. So that's that. I now, quite frankly, don't know what to do with myself. I have 40 minutes left and I could read The Iron Crown for that. However, I am reading this book for a different video. And I do not want to mix them. This is also going to take a really, really long time to read because it is massive. So, because I am trying desperately to get my TBR down and to read the books I own, given that I am reading that for a different video that you will have to wait for, because that's going to take a while, I think I am going to start reading Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I have 40 minutes left to read today, and I feel like that should potentially get me a good chunk into Great Expectations. I have no expectations for this book, which is fun. I honestly don't even know what this is about. I did not expect that to be so loud. Whoopsies. But that was actually perfect timing. Like, this went off just as I was finishing chapter 9 in Great Expectations part 1. Because from what I've seen, it starts back at chapter 1 again once we move on to the next part, which confuses the heck out of me, but I guess that's fine. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I understood any of what I just read, if I'm being completely honest. But then again, that's okay. Oh, I'm actually about halfway through, like, volume 1. I'm realizing that classics really are not for me. I'm going to continue reading this because I'm at least like sort of getting what we're talking about. I'm not intellectual enough, I guess, to read these types of classics. I've got Moby Dick on my shelves as well, and I'm terrified of that. Like, it's one of those things that I really want to read because it just seems like I should read it at one point. We'll see if that actually happens. Like, same with Great Expectations. Hi. Okay, so it is way late. And I have been out most of the day and doing other stuff. And I haven't even checked how much time I have to read for today. And it's almost 8 in the evening, which means that anything over 2 hours is just not happening today. So let's spin the wheel. Every time I forget to freaking, like, close it. I hate it. Oh, 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 oh! Okay, we're doing 2 hours. I'm starting now, and I'm just going to listen. Honestly, how much time do I have left in Masters of Death? I think it was like 3 hours, right? I think I might actually just listen. Yeah, I have 3.5 hours left in Masters of Death. Huh, I thought I had less. Anyway, I think I'm just going to listen to Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. Because I can't be bothered. I can't read Masters of Death today. I felt really unwell today because I forgot to drink coffee, and so the caffeine withdrawal hit me while I was out. And I felt so stupid because I had just completely forgotten. And like, I'm trying sort of to wean myself off of caffeine a little bit. Um, and so I was like, if I don't feel the need to drink coffee, then I'm just not. And then the need really hit. So my brain is all scrambled up. So, yeah. I'm gonna listen to Great Expectations now. And am gonna be glad that I somehow managed to only have to read for 2 hours. I cannot believe my luck, honestly. Okay, let's go to timer. 2 hours. Great Expectations. Okay, so I started getting ready for bed, and it took me like an hour to read 22 minutes. I I might read a little bit more later, but I will just finish this timer tomorrow, and then I will respin the wheel and see how much extra time added technically. I will then also still have to read tomorrow as what I would usually have to read tomorrow. I'm praying it's not 7 hours. But even if it is, I can't change it. It's just my brain is not comprehending a single thing. And I was reading this and now I don't care about it anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop for tonight because I feel like any book I would try to read tonight, I would not care for. And I don't want that. That's stupid doing that to myself. So instead, I am going to just not do anything. Give myself a rest, a break. I did read something. It was like 4 or 5 chapters, maybe. I don't even know. I'm gonna start by trying this again tomorrow morning. If after another chapter or 2 I realize I don't care, I'm DNFing. Because it's too big to force myself to read this. I'm also DNFing it with the probable intention of trying it again a different time. Once I've read more classics, that's what I have decided with A Tale of Two Cities. It's one of those things where it's just like, when I read it, I just don't really care for it much. I don't really get into the writing of it because of the way it's written. And I'm guessing that the more classics I do end up reading, the easier it'll become for me. So, I will let you guys know tomorrow what happens with this, because I will decide tomorrow morning. I had a bit of a late start to today, so it is what it is, but I am going to run this timer down, and I actually think I'm going to listen to some of Masters of Death first before I go into Great Expectations, because that way I can maybe finish the timer with this, spin the wheel, figure out how much time I actually need to be spending today, figure out what I'm doing with this book, finish this book, maybe read a manhwa, start this book. That is the plan right now. We will see what happens. I'm gonna... Oh. Masters of Death just hurt me. Physically, not mentally, emotionally. We will see if that happens as well. But anyway, I'm gonna start with that. I am just gonna do it. Otherwise, I will not start. Hello! So, I just finished with my timer, and I finished the scene that I was reading and listening to in Masters of Death, which means that now I need to choose my next. Oh wait, is that possible? That is so weird. No, I don't. What did I do? What did I do? That was not a proper spin. I'm so confused. I didn't realize you could like spin it. We're not counting this. So, okay, spin. There we go. So we'll see how much time I need to read today. I'm okay with 3, 4, and 6 hours, I think, because I have about an hour and a half left in this, and oh, I shouldn't have said 6. Well, 6 hour it is then. Wonderful. Okay, anyway, I am weirdly enjoying this. Olivia Blake's writing always seems to be a mix of like, I'm really intrigued, and like I'm really, in a weird way, interested in the characters, and then on the other hand, I just want to be done with it. And that's a very Olivia Blake thing for me. I don't know if that makes sense. Let's start the 6 hour timer. I should not have said 6. Anyway, it'll be fine. Okay. So, I just finished Masters of Death, and I have 4.5 hours left of reading. This may be my favorite Olivier Blake. Maybe. It also just really fits with my interests currently, so that might be it as well. And I love the fact that we had the different like perspectives in a way, and I just like Death being a freaking character is just, I just love it. I also love it when like pantheons cross. This had so many things that I really enjoy. I love it. I may actually give it 3.75 stars. Because there were still times where I was like, okay, can we just wrap it up a little quicker? If you know what I mean. It's just, this is good. I'm really happy. Really happy with that. I am now going to figure out what I'm going to do with Great Expectations. I do not have the highest hopes. Okay, I made it just a few minutes, like 10 minutes further into the timer. I've read the next chapter, and spoiler alert, his sister seems to have just been murdered. Spoiler over. And I don't care. So I'm gonna DNF. Yeah, so, my bad. Unfortunately, I am not going to be finishing this. I have 4.5 hours left-ish. So I'm just gonna start The Vanishing Half, see what I think, see if this is a book that I can actually read right now. You know, it's just like, I might start it and realize, oh, I can't read it right now. Then I'm gonna take a look at maybe a different book that I can read right now, maybe a German one. I am... No, where's my... I forgot to put that back. Anyway, I am somewhere in part 2 in The Vanishing Half, and so far I'm enjoying it. I think this is going to be super interesting and super cool because I think it's going to go over like 2 or 3 generations, which I think is... I like that concept. My bad. Anyway, I think I'm only going to read up till part 3, which is gonna probably get me through just a little bit more. I just realized my phone's charging. Anyway, after that, I think I'm going to stop with The Vanishing Half for today. And instead, start a German book, probably this one, because my enjoyment of this is probably going to be lowered if I try to read it in one go. I'm just like, it seems like that kind of book to me. So I'm gonna take a break, and I'm either then going to finish it tomorrow or the day after, and I'm reading it over 3 days. I don't quite know yet. Okay, I just finished part 2. And as much as I kind of want to continue reading this right now, I'm going to stop and leave it at that, so I definitely pick it back up tomorrow again. Because I am pretty sure she just found her aunt. And that's going to be a cliffhanger sort of thing that I will keep for myself, so I read the rest tomorrow, or at least a good chunk. Like, I'm like, what, 40-something% through now? And that seems like a good idea. So I'm gonna move over to the run, Die Prüfung der Götter. And I've got 2 hours and 48 minutes left, so I should definitely make a good dent in that. So I just finished a chapter, and oh, that was an email. I have 13 seconds left, so I am going to stop here for today. I have made it to chapter 10, which is not bad, like, at all. I am... Yep. How do I stop this when I was on the timer? There we go. Okay, so I'm done for today. I'm intrigued. I'm very confused as to like what the relationship is going to be, because it could go either way. I do enjoy the world so far, though. It's very intriguing. Lots going on, but I'm also very much done reading today. Because in the end, I read like what, 7.5-ish hours? Which I can feel. I still don't know how people do like the 24 hours. That's never gonna work for me, like, nope. But anyway, I am all caught up again, which I'm very proud of. Good morning. It is Friday. Officially, only 3 days left in the week. It feels like the the week has just begun. Time is not real. Anyway, I have 3, 4, and 7 hours left. I am going to spin this, and depending on what I get, I will either have to start reading right away, or I will actually start editing, because I've been reading and even filming, but I have not been editing. So I technically could have posted a it's 3 hours, but like it was almost 7. So that decides it. I am going to sit down and edit a little bit while I drink my morning tea. Hey, so it's really late already, and I haven't really read today yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this. I'm going to read it for as long as I can, as long as I have the motivation for. And then for the remainder of the time, however much that's going to be, I am going to be starting Heir of Fire, because I really can't be bothered to read this. Sorry, not sorry. And I really wanted to read Heir of Fire this month, so that next month, potentially, I can start with the books in Throne of Glass that I have not read yet. So 3 hours starts now. Hi. So I did not read for a single second yesterday. And it was only 3 hours I was supposed to read, which it feels kind of illegal almost. Like the fact that I didn't do it, it's just, there's a reason for it. We forgot that we had to do something yesterday, and then someone kindly reminded us, which was great. Yeah, but it like sort of messed with the whole day, the whole plan. Like I was also exhausted afterwards, and it was just a lot. And then I wanted to read last night. I really, really did, because I wanted to manage this. However, the moment I started thinking about reading, it felt like such a chore, and I really didn't want that. I think it was also partially because I kind of had like, because these were my options, right? So I was like, okay, I can do this, but then I have to figure out a different book to read as well afterwards. And I just like, that seems like a lot. And then the other option would have been this. And I realized that I'm not even sure if I want to finish this book, which surprises me because I was like kind of invested in it when I was like reading it and listening to it the day before. And I was like, huh, interesting. So I was like, you know what? I'll start Heir of Fire, because this is unofficially on my February TBR. And I really want to get this done in February so I can potentially start reading the books I haven't read in the series come March. So I can actually finish Throne of Glass and then Ekata this year. given that I need to read all of my books anyway this year, but it's just like, these especially. I could not pick it up for the life of me. So what I'm gonna do is, for the 3 hours from yesterday, I'm going to see what happens with this book. I am going to just sit down and get started on this right now. It's already 12:30, so it's not even... Oh my god. I might have to read for 10 hours today. And I'm starting at 12:30. That's on me. But it is what it is. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to figure out if I actually do want to finish this book or not. Maybe I do. Maybe I am positively surprised again, and yesterday was just a really weird and bad day, especially for reading. And that's fine. But I'm going to start with this. I don't know how long this will take me, actually, exactly. It might, like, get me through the whole of the 3 hours. It might not. It might take me longer. No clue. After this, I am going to finish this. Because I want to finish it. I want to read it now, okay? Like, it's cool. And then, for the remainder of the time today, I will be reading Air of Fire. That is the plan. So, I had a slightly unfortunate day. I am about to finish the 3-hour timer. It's 9 more seconds, so I'm just gonna... Doop, it's gone. And I have about 20-ish minutes left. I really do not have a lot left in this book. But I started reading. It was fine. And then I kept getting messages and calls, and I couldn't really, like, get into reading too much, which was really annoying. But then someone stopped by, like a friend stopped by, which was nice. Don't get me wrong. And then I got a migraine, and it only just left. So it's now like 20 past 7. And I've only just finished the 3 hours from yesterday. But I also still need to check, technically, how much time I need to spend reading today. So I'm actually going to do that now real quick. And honestly, I'm just going to set the timer on whatever this says, and I will do the rest tomorrow, as well as the timer of how much I need to read tomorrow. No! Of course it's 7 hours. It was close. It was almost 4, which I would have been like, okay, 4 hours I might actually be able to do. But no, unfortunately, I'm not. So, 7 hours. Okay, so I finished this. I gave it 3.5 stars. And this actually ends in a way where I would be okay with not continuing to read the second one, but I do think I want to read the second one. So we'll see what happens and when I get to it, but it's not a book I own physically, so it'll happen when it'll happen. I just read another chapter of this and I could not concentrate on it at all. So I am going to move on to Air of Fire, which again is the last reread before starting with the books that I have not read in Throne of Glass, and I'm really excited. I think I like this the least of the first 3, I think, if I remember it correctly, but I'm not sure anymore, so we'll see. I'm looking forward to rediscovering what this is about. Hello! So we're gonna ignore the hair. I'm experimenting with some hairstyles because new hair length. I need to figure out how to style it. Anyway, as Last night, I managed to read for 2 more hours. And that means that I was at 5 hours left on the 7-hour timer. And I have managed to continue for another hour today in the morning while I was doing things. And I'm going to take these out soon, so I'm going to continue as well. And I have been listening to the audiobook of The Vanishing Half, and I have actually made it to part 4 now. And I'm enjoying this. I think part of why my brain couldn't handle it last night was because we didn't continue where we left off in the previous part, and we like switched perspectives and everything, and I was so confused. And my brain couldn't handle that last night. And last night I made it a little bit into Heir of Fire. I made it to page 154. Okay, I was not expecting to start crying at the end there. Okay. Yeah, so that was good. I'm a bit, I don't know. I need to digest this book, I guess. But definitely somewhere 4-star territory, I'm guessing, because that was good. Sad in the end, but good. And 3 hours left. So I'm gonna move back to Heir of Fire. I'm gonna take a mini break though, because I need to deal with the emotions. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I still have an hour and 19 from the 7-hour timer from tomorrow left. I'm not finishing this. I probably read more thanks to this video than I would have this week, which is sad to think, but it's just reading has been like an on-off thing for me at the moment, and I really try to read every day. Definitely doesn't work, and it's just life is life. Life gets in the way. There's a lot of things I need to do, and I want to make time for my hobbies. And I now have more than just reading as a hobby, so anyway, it's just I am going to do my absolute best to finish this timer. Just doing Heir of Fire. I will not be finishing it. Well, maybe I will. I have 2 hours left. And that will be 10:30-ish then. So I might be able to finish Heir of Fire tonight. And then it's gonna be it. I'm not gonna do the 4 hours. I did say I'll try tomorrow, but tomorrow is a work day again, and that's just not happening. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to Heir of Fire, and I remember why I think this may have been one of my least favorites so far. It's because of the constant switching of perspectives, which makes a lot of sense. And I don't know why I didn't like it as much, because I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to it. Also, I am currently using the Saja Boys as a bookmark. Good morning. So I ended up setting the timer again for the 4 hours that were left last night because I wasn't done with Heir of Fire yet, and I just wanted to sort of see how far I would get. And so I have 3 hours and like 15 minutes left. And now I have two options. Either I say like, okay, I'm gonna continue it today and really try my best to like read during my break, and also just like whenever I find a little bit of time, and hope that it'll be 3 hours and 15 minutes. Or I say I just end the video here. I'm gonna just see what happens during the day, I think, and how much time I might have to read tonight.
And then I might be like, oh, you know what? I can actually do 3 hours and 15 minutes, but we will see. In terms of Air of Fire, I did finish it last night. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars because apparently that's what I gave it the last time, although I think this time around it was more of a 4.25 star. Honestly not sure though. Um, what I'm more concerned about is the fact that I somehow managed to stop reading after this book because so much happens at the end of this book that I really want to start the next book now.
Okay, so I just listened to 12, which is the little novella that comes after the Naturals Quartet. And that took an hour. So I'm now at 2 hours and 11 minutes, which is progress. I don't know why I started so late. Anyway, I'm gonna try my best. And for honestly the rest of the night, I think I'm just gonna continue listening to Game Changer by Rachel Reed. Hello! So, I am editing this video. And yes, it is 4 months later. I'm a bad little YouTuber, I'm sorry. No, but I had found these clips and I was like, oh my god, right, I filmed this. And then I wanted to edit it about a month ago. And I had just not had the time or the energy to do so. But now I finally did. And I was like, I had filmed it. I kind of had fun doing it, so why the hell not upload it, right? But I am getting to, well, I'm now at the end of the clips that I have apparently filmed, and I realized that I never ever finished filming anything for this video. So, if I remember correctly, I did actually end up finishing the timer by continuing reading Game Changer, which I actually quite enjoyed. I have not picked up Heated Rivalry yet, but I do really want to. I also really want to watch the series, and now with Off Campus being out, I haven't watched the series yet because now I really want to read Off Campus as well, or like listen to it, honestly. I'm not too fussed about reading it physically, mostly because I literally do not have the time to like get even more books on my TBR, as I have just shown that I did. But anyway, I think this was an interesting sort of experiment to do, and I think I might try the format again because it's a lot of fun and a bit more like motivation to put the amount of hours that I read in a day into the hands of fate. I don't know, it's a vibe, I guess. But anyway, overall, I think it was really fun. Please don't ask me about the books because this was, like I said, 4 months ago, and I do not remember. I haven't read that much. I also... Nothing has changed. No, that's wrong. I'm even further behind on my reading goal. That's the only thing that has changed. I even did a video trying to catch up to my reading goal and I didn't manage it. And now I'm like, I don't want to lie, but I'm probably somewhere 35 books behind schedule or something. So honestly, for me, the end of July and August is going to be a chunk where I'm like, oh, space of about 6 weeks when I'm going to get a lot of reading done, hopefully. I am going on vacation. Funnily enough, somewhere I was not planning on going this year, but I am so happy that I am because I haven't been in a while and it is a little piece of my childhood, or honestly, just my teenage years as well. I have extremely fond memories and I cannot wait to go again. So overall, I am going to take a bunch of books with me as well. I'm going to take my Kindle. I am probably going to take my computer and my camera and everything as well, so I can film, I can edit, I can do all of the stuff that I want to do while sitting in the sun and enjoying good food and all that jazz, you know? So I'm getting so off topic. My goodness. Currently have a lot of restless energy, which is why I'm editing. It's working. I'm channeling it. But overall, I wanted to actually just say thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, this was chaos, but it is a wonderful representation of my life, I feel, because that currently feels like chaos. And I am beginning to realize that I maybe do not mind. Life seems a lot more fun that way. So I am going to do my best to maybe also see if I can do another video, maybe not next week, but the week after. Who knows? And I hope to see you in that one. Bye!